Hey, fellow YouTubers. This is me again. Trying to show off some more geekiness by showing you the latest build of Windows 10 Mobile. This would be build 10.5.8.1. Um, the good thing about this build, I mean, there's nothing new built into this latest feature. You can check out my previous video, which was on the previous build. There were a couple of builds in between my last video, which was on 10.5.36 and in 10.5.8.1. I didn't do a video on those. 10.5.7.2 was a bit of a tedious build, which was the previous build before this one, because you had to revert back to Windows 8.1 and then download the Windows Insider app and then upgrade from Windows 8.1 in order to be able to get the latest build. So they actually fixed that for this time around. And overall, all they did with this new latest build is just a lot of refinement, a lot of improvement, definitely a lot more smoother than it was before. Apps launch a lot better. You can see I have my Twitter app here. So it just runs a lot smoother. I have the Windows Store app. They also improved the efficiencies of the battery life. I'm noticing that the battery life is a lot better on this latest build. Uh, Windows Store, I'm not sure why it's having trouble loading right now, but it was run pretty good so far. Let's take a look at the News app. I think Windows Store is still a little buggy. I'm not sure what's going on with it, but they have been constantly improving it. It was running pretty fine, but for some reason I'm having trouble launching it lately. Let's see. The lock screen also works a lot better than before. Let me. I am shamelessly plugging my wife in there. Anyways, the lock screen definitely a lot smoother experience. You can see now it has this fade out effect. Before it would lift up the entire picture, but now it kind of just fades the text and the picture fades away to show you your start screen. Great performance by that. It's just an overall smoother OS experience. There's Edge. I had a question on my previous video about text to type. So if we go, you can see you have the little microphone here, and this will appear everywhere, and it works pretty good. Uh, WindowsCentral.com. So it really works very well so far. So excellent web browser. They definitely improved a lot under the hood of Edge. It's running a lot smoother than before. So very, very interesting. Let's take a look here. Just overall, excellent. They did fix Hey Cortana. Before you would be able to just launch it by saying it. I mean, you couldn't at least before, but now they brought it back. The only problem with it, I don't have it, is because in order for it to work, you needed to have upgraded from Windows 8.1 to Windows 10.5.8.1. And I didn't want to go all the way back and revert because I already had 10.5.7.2. And I mean, to revert back and then upgrade again from Windows Mobile 8.1 is really tedious. I mean, it takes about an hour to do that, or over an hour at least for me. But Cortana is working excellent. Happy Halloween! Oh, let's see. Happy Halloween! I have my volume set so we couldn't hear speak here. Tell me a joke.
Why didn't the spider go to school? Because she learned everything on the web.
So, Cortana, of course, has a lot of personality. A couple of the bugs in this, I've noticed a few. There are a lot of issues with the Windows Store. I'm having trouble downloading many apps. Some of the apps will give me an error message when they're not installed. And the major issue with this one has to do with storage. It will not detect. You can see it shows my SD card here. It doesn't show me my system memory, and I cannot change the SD card. It's having a lot of trouble with that. This is a known issue. They are working on it. But it was kind of a bummer for me because it was working just fine on the previous build, and just because they're going through the paces of fixing everything under the hood with Windows 10 Mobile. Of course, in this current iteration, it's not the greatest. Now, if you wanted to install all of your apps onto your SD card, all your music, all your information, you would have to revert back to Windows 8.1 again and set those defaults in your settings and then upgrade to Windows 10 mobile 10.581. Again, I didn't want to have to do that. It's very tedious. And also, every time I install a new build, I always reset to factory default so that the OS runs as smoothly as possible. It's just a good practice or best practice. So that's the major issue with it, the things that need to be fixed so far. Um, Somebody asked me about mobile hotspot. Mobile hotspot supposedly is working. It doesn't work for me. Now, I don't know if this is because I don't have the service through my carrier or if it's an issue with the OS, but according to the build notes or the latest notes on the release, it is supposed to work, but I have had issues with it. I don't. I mean, I don't know if it's because I don't have it in the service or not. Um, Overall, just a much bigger improvement than than the previous build. It's running a lot smoother. You can see here my devices. Here it detects it, but of course in the storage section it does not. Um, so most of the information is being stored on the system memory, not on the SD card, or at least I can't tell if it is simply because the storage is not working very well. Let's see here. But again, overall, a great app. Excuse me, a great release from Windows. I can't wait for the next one. Again, this is running on the Lumia 640, which is an AT&T Go phone. It's a great little workhorse horse phone. I'm a big fan of the Lumia phones, and I'm a big fan of their budget phones. The 640 is just performing very well. This is low end hardware. Um, and the great thing about Windows Mobile is that it is so fantastically optimized that it is hardware independent. It will run as smoothly on low-end hardware as much as it will on high-end hardware. Some of the things that I used to run into, or problems I used to run into with iPhone or with Android phones, for example, I have here a Galaxy S3, a much older phone, of course, and it's running the latest, Android OS. I just recently reset this to factory defaults because it was running so slow after I did the upgrade to Android 4.4.2. And it just runs a lot slower simply because as the OS gets more complex, then it has a lot more trouble running on older hardware. The same issue is with the iPhones. You buy an iPhone 5, but it can't run the latest iOS 9, or it can run it, but it'll run it really, you know, um, troublesome. You can see there's still some bugs in the system. See how it's still trying to load the start screen. Uh, Not entirely sure why. I believe it has to do with that bug with storage, but not entirely sure. It seems to do that every once in a while, but Again, this is my late daily driver. I am using Windows 10 Mobile as a daily driver. A lot of folks ask me if I would recommend that they install it on the phone. Absolutely. I mean, it runs just fine. If you are looking for the greatest apps on the App Store, then no, because I mean, Windows Store is still very early on. Microsoft is working on universal apps. But if you are just a geek like me and you just want to try out experimental, you want to see the development cycle of an OS and experience it, then I think the Windows Insider program is great for that. I am a big fan of what Microsoft is currently doing with Windows, allowing folks to test drive it, to provide feedback, which is I think is excellent. Um, so, anyways, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you like it, and just give me some feedback as to what you'd like to see in the latest builds. Thanks again.